If your YouTube feed is anything like mine, lately all you've been seeing are spring knitting plans. Everybody's feeling that seasonal shift and starting to plan ahead for warm weather fibers and patterns, and I obviously want to hop on board. I am super excited to start planning my spring knits as well, but I thought instead of giving you a video of all of the plans after I've made them, I would show you how I plan them. Because in the past, when I've done videos that included a Ravelry tutorial component, I've gotten a lot of great feedback on that. So today, I'm gonna go through my stash and pull out some yarns that I think would be fun to use for spring or that I already plan on using for spring. And then we can go on Ravelry together and I can show you what I plan on making with them and the process that I use for choosing new projects based on the yarn that I already have when I'm on Ravelry. So the three main functions on Ravelry that I get the most use out of are the pattern library, the yarn stash, and the project queue. So today I'm going to go over how to look at and maintain the project queue you've already created, how to access your yarn stash and view what yarns you have and what quantities you have, even if you don't have that yarn in hand. And 3, how to use the advanced search function on Ravelry to search your own library, but also Ravelry's entire database of patterns to suit the yarns that you want to use right away. I have some yarns here that I recently purchased from Joann Fabrics that I'm very eager to get using during spring and summer knitting. I'm not going to go over how to add these to yarn stash because I already did that in my big yarn stash video that I put out last year, so you can go back and check that out if you're interested on the tutorial about how to add yarn to your stash in the first place. But I am going to add these today and then use these as an example of how to choose a pattern based on the yarn that you already have. So let's do a little stash shopping and then we can hop on Ravelry and plan some spring knits. All right, so here we are on the Ravelry homepage. Like I said, Ravelry has a lot of functions, but I mainly use 3. The 3 being project queue, yarn stash, and pattern library. So today I'm gonna start in queue because I actually do like to keep track of my potential future projects in my queue. I certainly don't stick to this, in the order they are, or sometimes I change my yarn choices when I actually decide to cast on. But it is a nice way to keep track of the ideas you have. And especially because when you add them to your queue, you can use yarn from your stash. So you can kind of earmark it for, this is what I think I'll use for it. And that can be helpful because I can't tell you how many times I've come back to this queue later and gone, oh yeah, I forgot I thought I could use that yarn for this project. So it is really helpful to help keep track of your own thoughts. And it's not set in stone. It's just a list of ideas. I mean, some people really do use it like a to-do list in order of priority, but I kind of just use it to keep track of my ideas and vaguely in order of priority. So you can see here that all the stuff at the top, most of the stuff at the top, is starting to turn into warmer weather stuff. There's light cardigans, there's t-shirts, there's tank tops. And then I have recently moved a lot of the thicker, heavier stuff down to the bottom. So I don't think I'm gonna get around to this cardigan this year. Maybe I will, but right now I'm not feeling it. I had kind of hoped that I could power through and do more cold weather, cozier knits before the spring bug bit me. But you know what? We've had a few really warm days this last week. I'm starting to feel like getting into lighter knits and warmer weather garments. So I think I'm gonna put this one on the back burner for now. There's a lot here. So I'm gonna just go to the change order screen because then we can see all of them in little thumbnail form and it's a lot easier to rearrange them. So, right now look at that, it's literally called the autumn cardigan. So you know what, maybe it's a good idea to move this down with some more of these autumny things and put it down in the 20s somewhere. It doesn't matter to me specifically where it is because I don't stick to this list as a hard and fast rule. I just know I'm not gonna get to it probably in my next 20 projects. So I'm not gonna ignore the things at the bottom for now. I know that some of these at the top are high on my list of priorities and I'm gonna keep them there and hit save changes. Here at the top, this t-shirt is called Prairie Grove and I have already indicated here that I would like to use the 2 skeins of this that I bought, Emma's Yarn Slubby Slub in the colorway Whisper. This is technically a fingering weight, but it's thick and thin. It's really fluffy. I think it'll look good in a very simple top like that has some nice pretty lacework at the bottom, but is overall really lightweight and airy. So there's that. I know I have some of these yarns here earmarked for other projects, but I kind of don't remember what they are. So let's scroll through and see. Fossil Frenzy Tea is also close to the top of my priorities in my brain and in my queue, but that I bought a kit from Yarnaceous Fibers, so I don't have that yarn down here with me. These 2 cardigans I still plan to make out of these yarns. This one I brought as a reminder, but I didn't bring the full quantity. So this Amadeo cardigan, I plan on using this Lion Brand KNITS in the color Lunar Rock. This is another one I don't know that I'll get to. Like I have it flagged to use some mohair with it. I'm probably not going to do that. I think I'm moving away from mohair for this season. I definitely want to make this cottagecore crop soon. This pattern was very thoughtfully gifted to me by one of you and one of my Ravelry friends, so thank you so much. I'm very excited to get into that, even though that's a bit more of a summer top, so that's why it's a little farther down the list. Tea of Dreams. Now this one's interesting because I saved it, but I didn't say what yarn I wanted. So what does it use? Fingering weight. And we can see the yarn range here that it uses, but that is such a big range, right? That goes from the smallest size to the largest size. Now I know I tend to fit somewhere around 1/3 of the way through that range. I tend to make myself either a medium or a large size when knitting things. It is helpful if the pattern designer has included information about the yardage for individual sizes here. I don't see that, so my guess would be that I would need about 1,000 to 1,100 yards, just because I know that usually if it's a longer size range or larger size range, I'm going to fall about 1/3 of the way into the pack. I'm not sure. I don't know what I had thought to use that for. I think these beautiful yarns are technically sport weight, so maybe not those. Another with mohair. Yeah, I think I'm going to change the order again because now I've found 2 that I wanted to use mohair for. I don't think that's really what I'm feeling right now. Although that would be very springy. I don't think the texture itself would be very springy. So I think I've gone through what I have, and I like right now I know some of these I haven't chosen yet. Certainly these, because I just added them to stash today, I haven't chosen yet. So when I'm thinking about which projects to choose and how to search through them on Ravelry, I usually already have an idea of what I want to make. With these, I know I want to make a t-shirt. I really like the colors in this. It's kind of hard to see in this skein, so let me get a different one. There are a couple shades of this like teal blue, there's orange, yellow, and the cream base. And it's like a very short striping pattern with a lot of the cream base in between, and very 70s color vibe. And what I really like about that is it reminds me of those like striped 70s t-shirts. So I immediately wanted to make a t-shirt out of this. I got 4 skeins of the colored beach with the striped on it. And I also just got 1 skein of plain cream because I thought if I'm making a t-shirt, I'll want the ribbing and any ribbing on like the sleeves or on the bottom to be just plain cream. I don't want to run into the issue of some of the stripes popping up in that. So let's go on Ravelry and see what my options might be for this yarn. So first, let's go to my queue and see how much of the yarn I have, or my queue. First, let's go to the yarn stash and see how much I have to work with. I'm going to sort it by date added because I know I just added it today, and there it is right on top. So it says I have 720, but I did stash it separately from the cream. So I actually have 900 yards of this. I like to think of yarn in terms of length and yardage. I know some people like to think of it by weight, by how many grams they have, but to me, the yards just click better in my brain, and I find that an easier way to process that information and match it up with the pattern I need. We know we have 900 yards. I like to actually keep this open in a separate tab because I'm gonna forget that 900 yards. So I'm gonna go here and go to my pattern library and open it in a new tab so that I can keep checking back to the yarn for reference. So this is gonna show me all of my patterns. Now I know it's not 100% of the patterns that I actually own because sometimes Ravelry is slow to update, especially about periodicals. If you get magazine subscriptions, sometimes they don't update for months and months. Patterns that exist in those magazines or attached patterns that already exist on Ravelry to those magazines. So I know I probably have hundreds more patterns than I actually reflected in this library, but the vast majority of them are here, and it is much easier to use this search function to filter through the ones you need for your specific purpose rather than flipping through 1,000 magazines just trying to find one that happens to be for the right weight and quantity and style that you want. So I'm going to use advanced search here. Now you don't have to start in your library to use advanced search. You can actually just go to the advanced search function and click in my library. I'm going to do that for the sake of demonstration. So this is the home page of the advanced search function, which always starts by showing you the most popular patterns right now. I like to start by checking what's already in my library before I expand to things that I might find for free or for purchase online. So I'm going to click the in my library box to narrow it down to that. Now for this t-shirt, I know I want it to be a t-shirt, I want it to be my size, I want it to be knit, not crocheted, and I want it to be for the quantity of yarn that I already have. So this is, according to the label, a DK weight yarn. So I'm gonna go here. I know I have 900 yards. For insurance, I'm just gonna check a couple boxes below 900 because I don't want to rule out anything that might be 740 yards because that's a quantity that I have and I could make. And this function is very specific to the actual range that you select. Another thing about it that makes it kind of tricky is if any size of the entire size range of the pattern falls into that range that you're choosing for yardage, then it's going to show up. So for instance, you might have 1,000 yards of a yarn and you're looking to make something in your own size, but it's going to show up in your search results if the extra small uses exactly 1,000 yards. And if you can't wear an extra small, you're kind of out of luck. So you have to keep that in mind too, that just because it comes up doesn't necessarily mean you absolutely have enough yarn to make your size. It just means you might. It fits in the range of overall all of the sizes. So we have checked in my library the yardage I have. I'm gonna skip down here and click DK, so it's the right kind. I'm gonna click knitting because I know I want this to be a knit project. And then I'm also gonna sort to t-shirts. So under clothing, tops, tee. So it looks like we've narrowed it down a lot. I have 16 contenders. We'll see what we have. So this one looks very simple. I do like that one. I was kind of thinking for something, like I said, these colors are very retro to me. I was kind of hoping for a more retro style. Right off the bat, none of these super speak to me. And this one's a little loose. Okay, so I'm thinking of more of a close fitting style with like a crew neck. I'm also gonna expand it to free right now to see what's out there. And actually I'm gonna unclick in my library. So let's have a look. Would like a closer crew neck neckline. And I would like some sort of ribbing at the bottom. Like I like this Summer League cutoff, but I don't love the end. So maybe I could keep in mind that I could adapt something like this, make the Summer League cutoff, but then add some ribbing at the bottom. Therefore, defeating the cutoff descriptor, but making it what I actually want it to be. Because I do like that neckline. Oh, this looks good. What is this? That's something else I forgot to mention. Look at this. This pattern is only available in Norwegian, so I should probably go back and specify that I would like the pattern to be in English because that is my only spoken language. All right, so let's look again. Now there are search functions you can use here when you're looking for a specific feature, like a crew neck or a stitch pattern or some type of technique. But I find that sometimes that can unnecessarily narrow down the search results that you get, because if the designer didn't specify that feature when they listed the pattern on here, it will be exempt when you maybe don't want it to, and it won't show up in your search results. This is kind of the style of shirt that I'm thinking of. This looks like an older pattern. Looks like the largest size is 38 inches and it says fits tight. Now my bust is typically around 39 or 40. So I don't know if that's the move. It's also more of a scoop neck than I would like. This is quite a scoop neck. So this is interesting because like on this one, this is such a deep scoop neck, but then on some of the other samples, it's really much, much tighter. Drops design is so hit or miss, I think, for everybody, but I've had a lot of issues with it in the past. I have successfully made some of their patterns and they turn out great, and then there's others that I have fought with and had such a hard time that I don't, they're not my favorite. And it also looks like this type of construction might not be ideal for my self-striping yarn because it kind of looks like, oh, this is being difficult. It kind of looks like the sleeves are knit in one piece with the body like in a T shape and then seamed up, and that's not what I want because the sleeves will go the opposite direction. The stripes will go the opposite direction on the sleeves, and I won't like that. All right, well, I'm not seeing any free patterns that I love. So actually, I'm gonna go through and check my favorites because I do save things as favorites into a wish list. And there might be something here that would work. Ooh, like this, look at this. I love this one, the Colette tee. I might have even saved it for this on purpose. It looks like it's got like a raglan or a saddle strap shoulder. Oh, come on, let me see the shoulder. Hard to see. I do think that this is a really good contender for me. I think this is the exact style that I was thinking might look nice with this self-striping yarn, and especially because I could purposefully use just the white on the sleeves and the striping on the body. Like that idea. I can actually even advanced search my own favorites list to just be t-shirts. Oh, look at that. That's literally a 70s striped tee, and it uses DK weight yarn. Now I know that this one is obviously stripes that you put in on purpose, but I think that this is exactly what I want. So what I'm going to do is put add to queue, and then when I'm on this screen, it's showing the details about it, and I'm going to click use stash yarn and search here for the yarn that I have. Whoops, okay, this is called Essential Cotton. So let's search for Essential. Not coming up as DK weight. Oh, well, Ravelry thinks it's worsted, but the label says DK, and honestly to me it does look a little like a light worsted or DK. So I'm going to do this. Click use on both colorways that I have, and then click save and adjust position, because if you just click save, it's going to add it to the end of your queue, and I know I'm going to want to move it way up. So let's take it from 29, and I'm going to go ahead and add it here in, honestly, let's put it in first, because I've already got a lot of fingering weight projects going, and these two here are both fingering weight, and I know I'm not going to want to do too many of those at one time. All right, there we go. That is now at the top of my queue. I'm going to take some time and keep evaluating what I might do with some of these yarns that I know I would like to use sometime soon, and I'll check back with you so we can go over what my plans are. So I actually ended up putting together like a pretty adorable spring palette, and I was honestly not even choosing these yarns by colors at all. I was choosing them all by fiber and yarn weight, and it is very satisfying to see them all laid out together and see all of the pretty pastels and pale neutrals. I am in love with this. Okay, so let's talk over what I decided I'm going to do. I've got them kind of separated by garment type. I've chosen mostly t-shirts, 2 cardigans, 1 pullover, and a couple tank tops. The tank tops are probably going to get pushed off and be summer things, but can't hurt to plan ahead. And I did pull a couple extra yarns that I didn't think about at first, but later I thought those would actually be really pretty spring yarns. So I'm just going to keep them out so I can see them and be reminded that, you know, if something else comes up and I have a new idea, these are yarns that I thought would be nice to use for spring. The first category in my queue is t-shirts. Some of these I had already planned on making. I plan on using this Slubby Slub yarn from Emma's Yarn to make the Prairie Grove tee. I bought a Fossil Frenzy tee kit from Yarnaceous Fibers last year, and I absolutely plan on casting that on this spring or summer. But like I said, I've got a lot of fingering weight stuff already going at the moment, so this is just kind of on the back burner until I have space for another fingering weight knitting project. I chose a t-shirt for this yarn, which was the goal of the video. Funny enough, it's literally called That 70s Stripe Tee, and I was looking for a 70s style stripe tee to make with this 70s color palette, so that worked out perfectly. That is at the top of my queue because I've been doing a lot of knitting with fingering weight and very lightweight yarns, and this DK quasi light worsted is very appealing right now. This linen blend from Knit Crate is something that I've been planning to use to make that cottagecore crop for a while now. I think it's just going to be delightful made out of this linen blend fabric. It's going to soften up beautifully and just be a perfect warm weather garment. And for the last t-shirt, there's an old issue of Pom Pom that has a pattern called Ardea in it, and I'm going to use this gorgeous cotton handspun that I recently got from my Knitty Fix. I think there should be enough here. I mean, I can make it a little extra cropped if there's not, but I think it's going to be super, super gorgeous. I'm also planning on a couple of cardigans. Last year, I found a pattern in Knitting Magazine called the Alex cardigan that I really, really loved, and I decided at the time that I wanted to use this yarn for it. I do have a sweater quantity that I bought from Knit Crate, obviously back when they were open, but also long before they went out of business when they just had a sale. It's really, really pretty. It's the perfect spring weight of yarn, color of yarn. Like, I've just been saving this for spring, and I decided a long time ago I was going to earmark it for that Alex cardigan. I'm planning on making the Amadeo cardigan out of this Cotton Ease in Lunar Rock. And I have plans to crochet the Burning Embers sweater out of Lion Brand Touch of Silk. I recently got this on sale and I think that might work out really well for that. I have several colorways of Lion Brand Touch of Linen. I have used it before, and this is that type of like kind of crunchy natural fiber that after you wear it or wash it a couple times just gets so soft and so nice. This colorway is Haze. My plan is to make a tank top called Nightingale from Drops Design with this gorgeous Astari Ash Lawn collection. This is a cotton wool blend that I really, really like. I only have these two balls of it. I'm planning on making the George's top, which is a pattern that I got super into last year and I bought but never actually tried out, and I think this might work perfectly. And if I like it, I think that that's a good way to use up some of these extra yarns that I've pulled out that I know are great for summer and spring, but I don't know what to do with them because I think that that is a really pretty top that I might like to have in multiple colors. I have plans to make the Sarah top out of this beautiful Amano cotton, which is super, super, super soft, and I'm already anticipating how much I'm going to love the finished product. And it's got those little buttons on it. It's going to be so stinking cute. And these are some of the yarns that I've pulled out because I know I might like to use them, but I don't have specific plans. I have large quantities of this Black Friday viscose, this Black Friday cotton, both from Hobie. I have this one single skein of Yarn Bee that is a viscose yarn that I found at a thrift store. And I've got a couple skeins of this really pretty, really drapey lilac knit crate yarn that I would like to use for something, but I'm not quite sure what. Do you use Ravelry to plan your knits, or do you plan your knitting some other way? If you do, either way, I hope you found this video useful or informative in some way. Let me know in the comments what you are knitting for spring and if you use Ravelry like I do or not. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did find it informative, please give the video a like. It does help my channel to grow. And I really hope that you'll consider subscribing if you enjoy this content. I have all sorts of fiber ideas and fiber projects that are always rolling out, and I'm always trying to make videos about them. So I do hope to see you back here in the future. And if you're going to come back, please hit that subscribe button so that you know when I put out new content and I can reach you sooner. Thank you so much for hanging around today. Enjoy your warm weather knits or cool weather knits if you're in the Southern Hemisphere. And I hope to see you next time. Bye.